Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the show. This week I have a band out of Chicago called 6KITTY, and I have Donna and Stephanie on the channel with me right now. First and foremost, everybody that I'm promoting here, make sure you do your due diligence like I do and listen to everything that they put out. Let's fall in love with the artist and fall in love with the art they're creating. And now we're going to go have a wonderful time finding out about these two brilliant individuals that are come together and make 6KITTY. So welcome to the show, Donna and Stephanie.
Hey.
Thanks for having us on.
It's my absolute pleasure. We were talking a little before. Apparently, I was being interviewed by Donna prior to hitting record. So now we're going to get into my interview with them. But I don't know who wants to start, if Donna or Stephanie. If you want to give us a quick background about how 6KITTY became what it is today and releasing an album back in 2022 and working on new music right now, too. So I'll lay the floor because who knows? Maybe you have conflicting thoughts about how the band actually started.
Probably not. Go for it, Donna.
I mean, I don't think we have conflicting. We've been friends for a really long time, and we've played music in the past. And then I had moved away for a few years, and I came back, and we were like, "Hey, let's start playing again." And so that was probably in, I don't know, like 2018 maybe, and maybe 17. I can't really remember, but we just started writing. We were playing with a different drummer at the time, and a female drummer, a woman drummer who was great. But we had some changes in our practice space and things just like didn't pan out the way we were hoping. So we ended up moving into a new space and then called an old friend of ours whom we had also played with, Alex, who's a great drummer. And he agreed to come and play with us. And then we just started writing songs and went into the studio and recorded Tux. We actually did an EP before Tux, just like a 3-song demo. And then we decided to go in and do a full length album, which was super fun, amazing experience. And and now here we are today. We're recording. We just actually finished laying down all the tracks for our new album at Gravity Studios in Chicago. And so we're rolling. We're rolling along.
That's awesome. I love having things to look forward to. So when I had heard you were laying down new music, I was like, it makes it even more important to me to have you on the show because people can hear what you already got. And then now they get to look forward to some new awesome shit coming out too. So it's great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. We're really happy with the new material. I think it's kind of an evolution. I mean, Stephanie, I don't want to do all the talking, so you can jump in anytime.
I mean, I think when we did the first album of Tux, like when we recorded it, like we had kind of been playing the songs for a while because it was during COVID. And so we would go to our practice space and we would put our masks on. And we had been playing those songs for a long time and we thought of them in a certain way. And then we went to this guy who kind of like produced it and gave us some like inspiration, sort of thinking outside of the box. And so I think we brought that to like, we're bringing that to our new album. So that was kind of an interesting like influence kind of.
Okay. Well, and speaking about, maybe changing some things up, my question will be because I don't want to be the one to do it, but if you were to label yourself or fall under some sort of genre, because I think, nowadays, unfortunately, there's how I find you guys on Bandcamp with all these 90 million subgenres to find stuff, which drives me crazy. But at the same time, it kind of lends itself to leading me to where I want to be. What do you think you would categorize yourself if someone said you have to put a genre label and you have to stay away from the word indie and alternative? Those are the 2 words that you got to stay away from because they're way too commonly used and boring and cop outs. So,
I mean, I think we call ourselves kind of like dream pop ish. I mean, we're kind of moody. We can be heavy. I don't know. It's hard because I think we have a variety of types of songs. Some are really poppy, some are really moody. So I think, I don't know, Stephanie, if you agree with me, but I think dream pop is kind of where the umbrella that we put ourselves under.
For sure. I was going to say dream pop. I think it's like, I think a lot of our sound is like the strength of like Donna's guitar sound and like her, like what she comes up with and stuff. And so, and we kind of work off of that. And like, I feel like the bass is more melodic sounding. So I would definitely say dream pop.
all right, that's what I would say too. It. I called it. I when I was playing it for someone, they're like, "Oh, what is?" I was like, "I call it dream pop gaze." Like it.
Oh yeah.
Like it just has that. I guess that big bassy sound when you least expect it with fuzzy guitars and great melodies, and I'm like, yeah, that's like a perfect dream pop shoegazy mix that
nice. I
took
like
me
that.
to somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would also say like a lot of my influences are very post-punk. And so I think sometimes there's like a little bit of a weirder twist in there that isn't so much, that moves away a little bit from the pop sensibility where it's like a little bit weirder, but it doesn't get, it doesn't get too math rocky or I don't know. I think it stays in the pop lanes, but it's a little bit edging out toward the edges.
Yeah, and what's funny is because I'm a huge I love power pop. Okay, I call it power pop because like back in the '90s when I was growing up and listening to music, the power pop to me was like the Posey, Superdrag, bands of that nature that had this awesome, I guess, a little distortion to the guitars, but their harmonies and their vocals were so perfect that I started going down and finding all this new music, and all of a sudden I came across too that you guys were placed on I think it was called like an international pop CD from like Omnivore Records or something, that I was like, wow, that was really interesting to me to see all the bands that were on there, and then you guys had flowed into it.
Yeah, that came about because we were invited to play the International Pop Overthrow Festival in the Chicago one.
Mm-hmm.
We've done it 2 years in a row now, and the guy that puts that on, David Bash, has been doing it for like 21 years, I think. And he does it like in Liverpool and in, just like around the world in different places. And he puts out a CD. I don't know if he does it for every location, but he definitely did it for Chicago 2 years in a row. And so, yeah, that's how we ended up on that CD.
Yeah, so I saw that and I ordered both of those CDs.
Oh, very nice.
Because I was like, how have I been missing this stuff? I'm like, okay, this band that I like, I see that they're on this thing, so there's got to be, oh my God, there's like 60 songs on these CDs, but in 60 different bands. I'm all in. Now I'll find something else new that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he curates a pretty. He curates like a whole week of shows at one venue, and it's like on weekends it's all day, afternoon, evening, and then during the week it's at night, and it's a pretty cool event.
That's awesome. All right, I'm going to start with you, Stephanie, and I'm going to go back to pivotal time in your life. And for me, it started, I was very young, and I heard music was always a part. It was always on in the house. Someone was playing something, but the first time I heard something that made me want to find out more about it, for me, it was the Beach Boys when I was 6 years old. And I remember it specifically. Like, I heard the Beach Boys and I, screaming from the back of the car, play it again, play it again, play it again. And it was something that changed my life and wanted me to find out more about music. Do you kind of have a moment of growing up and finding something like that, or something hitting you when you were very young that made you want to learn more about music or find out more about it?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I would say like the Pretenders and the Smiths. And like at that point I like begged my parents to get me a guitar, and they were like, I don't know. And I'm like, please, please, please. And then finally I got a guitar. And then I mean that was like the first thing that made me want to like actually go out and do music, and play it.
So, like, did you grow up in a musical household? Was there stuff always on, or was it like you kind of finding it yourself?
No one in my house is musical. My dad's was a lawyer. Two of my sisters are lawyers. My other sister's a psychologist. So it was like medical or law, and it was like I was completely out of place. And it took me a really long time to find myself in that, in art, because art they didn't think was viable, so.
Not like many parents never thought it was viable.
Yeah, and I feel like you really have to fight for yourself, and you have to continually tell yourself, no, this is meaningful to me, and this is more important than any other like occupation. And like I think it's really hard for kids and people who don't have that kind of backing. I mean, I think they do now, but I had to kind of prove myself in that,
Well, I mean, and that was thinking about times like that too. If you're, I'm not going to throw ages on people, but if the Pretenders and the Smiths were something that you were listening to, were probably around the same age. And the way I look at it is I just took this huge leap in life, and I'm almost 50 years old. And my parents were still like, well, how are you going to manage? Who's going to want to come out and see music? Who's going to buy records? Who's going to buy? It's like still dealing with that the arts always played a pivotal part in my life. And it's still like, I'm still dealing with it. And it's really hard to get that generation of my parents that are like, well, no, this is what you're supposed to stay at a job for 50 years
for sure,
and then retire,
like where's the monetary outcome for you? Like, but it's not about monetary outcome. It's about like how do you want to live your life, you know? And I think like now it's so different. I mean, it's really so different and opportunities are there. I personally don't think, at least for me, that opportunity was not there, you know? So it was like, it was like pushing against like that, you know?
Yeah, I do think there's opportunities there too. There are certain things where, nowadays where the arts are just basically being torn out of schools, and you have to look outside, and you have to actually have parents that are going to get behind you, because they're going to have to drive you to a school of rock because you're not going to learn how to
Yeah.
play music in school, and that
But
kind of
you could
stuff. So,
also just do it on social media and
well,
just
yeah, you
like,
can.
you know, like sit in your room and, you know, video yourself, which is an opportunity in and of itself, right?
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Look at you. Boom, I'm shot down.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
But I
Everything
mean,
is
we didn't
possible.
have that, you know, we didn't have that
No,
opportunity.
we didn't.
There was no opening for that.
No, it's trying to, play at friends' houses because you just learned how to play, and you started a band, and they're going to have people over, and you're like, "Hey, can my band play there?" And that was our social media, really.
Yeah, for sure. Totally.
Now, I'll throw the same question to you, Donna. Like, when you were younger, what was it that kind of brought you to music, and what did you hear that made you stand up and your ears perk up and say, "Oh my God, there needs to be more of this in my life."
Oh man, I mean, music has always been the most important thing in my life from like my earliest memories. I remember just being at my grandparents' house and flipping through their albums. My grandpa was a singer, just like not professionally, but he would sing all the time. He had an amazing voice. I have an uncle who was a musician. All of his kids are musicians. So there was a lot of music, and I can remember being like, I don't know, 5 years old, singing harmonies with the little neighbor girl, like outside someone's window, and it was like this woman who had a baby, and she was like, "Oh, that's so nice, you're putting my baby to sleep." Like, I was always like, someone's gonna hear me and they're gonna discover me. So I it's always been like, just it's in my entire being, and if I whatever the outcome is, I have to make music. Like, I don't do it for any purpose other than just the end result is making music. And yeah, it's in me 100% who I am.
How old were you when, like, I mean, if you were very young, but when did you like find an instrument to accompany the singing you were doing?
I would say so. I had a cousin who would do piano recitals, and she started picking up the bass, and we would sing harmonies together all the time. And she really wanted someone to accompany her while she played the bass. So she started teaching me guitar. And I was in like sixth grade. We had a little band called Hot Ice,
Nice.
and and one of my uncles gave me a guitar, and so yeah, I just always kind of like, she taught me a little bit how to play, and then a couple other people would teach me a few chords here and there. I never really took lessons. I still am not a very technical player. Like, I play by ear, and I know chords and things like that, but I think that kind of gives me a unique approach where I'm not necessarily locked into any kind of pattern. I mean, I think it also sometimes puts me at a disadvantage, but at the same time, I get along. I struggle along.
I'll say you get along. You're here on the show because I liked your music, so you must have done something right.
Thank you. That's awesome.
Now, Stephanie, for you, when you decided to get that guitar, did you run out and get a awesome band like Hot Ice started? What was
No,
it
I
that you?
didn't. No, I didn't. Oh my God. The first band I tried out with was this punk band in college, and I was terrible. And like, it was so, like, everything was so fast. And I'm like, I don't even like this music. You know, I don't know. It was just like, it was crazy. But like, I was like, what the hell? I'll just try out for this band. But like, more so, like, I took lessons. I kind of learned a bit of the blues. And then, but I also was learning how to listen to music and like play it for myself. And so then I got together with a girl in college and just played like acoustic and did open mics and stuff. And so for a long time, I was just playing by myself at open mics and stuff.
Now, do you remember the first time you played in front of strangers and how that went?
I do. It was in the cafeteria in college. And I remember that the stool that I was sitting on was a little like not exactly right. And my foot kept slipping. But I barreled through it. And it was quite a good experience because it's like, you just got to keep playing, you know?
Yeah.
But but then I was like, but after that, I was like, I can freaking do this. I can totally do this.
That's awesome.
And
How
because
about you?
people were like listening and watching, and you could tell. I mean, you can tell when people are like intrigued, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the big thing that as
The
long as you,
connection.
I mean, you were in the cafeteria and there was no tomatoes thrown at you. So
No, there were not.
that's
There were
success.
not.
That's
Yes.
success. How about you, Donna? Do you remember the first time you like properly played in front of strangers?
I do. It was so terrifying. I remember I was in a band with all guys, and it was pretty heavy rock. And we had a show, and I was like, we have a show. I'm so excited. And then on the way there, we got in the van and we're on our way to the show. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I quit. No, I didn't say I quit yet. I said, I'm absolutely not doing this. Let me out of the van. I'm not going. And they were like, you have to do it. If you don't do it, you're out of the van. You're out of the band. And I said, I quit. And they forced me. They were like, nope, you're not quitting. You're going. You're doing it. And I did it. And after it was over, I was like, okay, it wasn't so bad. I survived. And at the time, I was only singing. So it was even easier than it is now because I wasn't even playing an instrument.
Oh, and they really needed you then.
Yeah.
You would have screwed up a lot.
They were really mad. They were really, really mad. But you know, whatever. I was young.
Yeah. When you're young, you can get over things a lot faster too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how about, I mean, do you remember, for good or bad, Donna, a memory of a performance that is kind of like the performance you're never going to forget for good or bad reasons?
I mean, I can think of a really bad one. I'm trying to instead think of a good one though, but yeah, I mean, you know, a couple really, really amazing shows that I've played. We played the Metro. A couple of my bands played the Metro in Chicago, which is, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it's a, you know, it's a bigger venue, a lot of national, yes, a lot
big
of
venue in Chicago. Yep.
Yeah. So playing there was so amazing because I was like, my heroes have stood on this stage and I am standing in this spot. And like, it's just so, I'm so grateful to have this experience. It's so amazing to just be here and be able to play this venue. And also, not to mention, they're so good to their artists. Like, they treat you just like a real, you know, like you're a real band and they treat you well. And, you know, even though we were local, that was really amazing.
Same question would go to you. Do you have a kind of moment where you forgot or want to forget or have a memory?
I have a funny story.
Then give it to us.
All right. So I was like, I think, okay, so out of college, then in Chicago, I played at this bar called the Charleston in Bucktown. And it was like another open mic. And I was with my friends and I was like all ready to go. And I was like, let's drink a little bit. And so like we got like I drank like a pitcher of beer. And I got up when it was my turn to play and I just sat there and did nothing. And I was like, I can't remember anything about what I'm going to play. And then my friend was like screaming like, come on, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay. And then like, I mean, like it was terrible. It was like 2 minutes of silence, which is crazy. And then I just started playing and I did remember like all the songs I was going to play because it was like 3 songs, you know. And it was like I played like Cowboy Junkies or something, you know, and it was like she's like play Cowboy Junkies and I was like I played it and I finished it and I was like, "Oh my god, note to self, I have a limit of what I can drink before I can play, and ever since then, it's like, then after that, when I would play like open mics, I'd be like, I can drink a 40 ouncer and that's it.
Well, it's good to know your limit. I mean,
But like, yeah, I felt like at that point I needed to just drink a little bit to get loose, but this time I drank too much. But anyway, it was hilarious because I sat there. I mean, I can't even believe I got through it. And then people like said the nicest things and they were like, oh my God, like that, reminds me of Tom Waits and blah, 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 and all that stuff. And it was great. It was wonderful.
I'm glad it turned out well. Now, when you're growing up, and a lot of us have been to a lot of probably concerts in our lifetime, but there's always that first one that you ever went to. Do you remember the first concert you ever went to, Donna?
I do.
Do you want to say?
It was Kiss. My cousin won tickets on the radio and we went.
Okay, well, you got to see a real performance, right?
For sure.
Yeah, real performance. So you didn't get to pick that. So how about what was the first one you picked to go to?
Jane's Addiction.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that was a religious experience.
That's a good one. How about you, Stephanie? Do you remember the first concert you ever went to and then the first one you ever picked yourself, if they're not one and the same?
I went with my older cousins and my sisters to see the Police, Joan Jett, and Ministry at Comiskey Park in Chicago. And it was amazing. I was very young. I probably shouldn't have been there. And then I would say the one I picked was like U2 Unforgettable Fire tour, which was awesome.
Okay. You guys absolutely blew me away with first concerts. Jeez.
What was yours?
Mine was Kenny Rogers. I didn't pick that. My sister loved Kenny Rogers, and she got straight A's, and my parents bought tickets to Kenny Rogers, and I got dragged along as a small child. And it was Kenny Rogers. And my second one was Barbara Mandrell, which was even worse. That I got dragged to.
I mean, I feel like you tend to be influenced if you have older siblings. Like, that's your first influence of music, really,
Well, yeah. I mean, my brother was 10 years older than me. So my brother, like, I tell people, I always had like the greatest musical, like, birth, really. And growing up in music, my grandparents would listen to jazz every night after dinner, and they would dance. And I would spend my summers with them, and they would, after dinner, they'd put on a jazz record and they would dance in the living room. So I always got to have jazz in my life. And my mom loved Motown and doo-wop, and my dad loved Bob Seger and Gordon Lightfoot and Glenn Campbell, and my brother loved Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and then my sister, I don't know why it was Kenny Rogers, but she loved Kenny Rogers, but she also loved The Cure. Yeah, The Cure and Depeche Mode and Tracy Chapman. So I got that, and then I got to find my own way, and I found punk rock, but I always say that my musical education in life was, I mean, bar none, it's the greatest thing I ever was able to have, was all those different influences in my life.
For sure.
Music was always
100%, there. Yeah. Like, I love all different kinds of music, and I'm so glad that I do.
Totally.
So I'm going to ask a question about, and I'm anxious to see if you're going to have, each of you would have a different answer, but I'm going to start with Donna. And if no one had heard 6KITTY's music and you had 3.5 minutes that you had to impress them with one of your songs that's currently out in the universe for people to hear, what song of yours would you play for them?
Oh, gosh. I guess I would probably play My World.
Oh my God, I was thinking the same thing.
Because I feel like it's a good representation of, it's like a well-rounded representation of our sound. Like, because it's kind of got, the weird time signature, and then it's,
and then it's got the bridgy breakdown that's very like
kind of spacey, and then,
yeah.
But then it's also got a pop vibe to it. Yeah, I would say that is kind of representative. It's like a well-rounded representation of our music.
So that's one of my favorite songs that you guys have out. If I would say favorite, and I hate using that term, but it's not the song I would play for somebody, which is fun.
Play?
So I would play. There's two songs that I've shared with people, and then I tell them to go to my world. The first one is Churchill Woods, and then Do I Walk, and then I say, then go to my world. And you, in those three songs, like if I were to create like a simple 3-song EP, I would probably put them in that order as well and say, here you go, here's the band. And if you don't like this, then your fucking ears don't work.
I can see that though. Yeah, that's a good.
I mean, I feel like my world is a combination of Churchill Woods and Do I Walk, right?
In a way, yeah. I actually really love Churchill Woods. And I feel like I often want to start shows with it because I feel like it's kind of a good opener. It has a cool vibe to it.
Yeah, maybe that's why I'm opening an EP with it. Like that's because
I like that.
Well, that is something that I do too. Like I'm a nerd when it comes to music. So like I'll listen to albums over and over again, and then I put them in the order that I think they should tell a story musically, by tone and structure and how it would work and how it like kind of grabs you. Like there used to be this old formula where like if the 5th song was always like a banger on an album, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to create albums that way, and then there's also that like story arc in a lot of albums that was like, it's a whole, people would call them concepts, but they're not concepts. It's just, hey, we're telling a story through 12 songs and this is the order it's supposed to be in. So then sometimes I like to take the Pulp Fiction route and pull them apart and be like, no, I like this better.
Maybe we should let you listen to the new album and you can give us your input.
I'd be more than happy to.
Nice.
We'll keep that in mind.
Now, would you say that, I mean, because Stephanie kind of sounded like you were going to go with My World too, right?
I was. I mean, okay, I agree with Donna 100%.
All right. Now, would you say, because I used the term already, would you say that's your favorite song that you've released so far to date? Or would you have a song that you would say, this is my favorite of that we created? I hope you're okay. Did you fall?
Okay. I just knocked something off my desk. I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Good.
Sorry.
Don't want to lose anybody. I'd be my first casualty on a podcast. I don't need that.
If it was going to happen to anyone, it would probably be me.
She's exactly right. Don't go skiing with Donna or running through a park with monkey bars.
This is true.
All right, so we have a klutz on the show. That's what we're finding.
I'm prone to industry. I can't even speak. I'm prone to injury. I really I always say I should wrap myself in bubble wrap before I go.
Yeah.
Then you're just going to suffocate yourself. So either way, you're ending up bad.
Indeed.
Yeah, you would tie it too tight and you would suffocate yourself.
Right. God.
Oh man.
So would you say that My World is your favorite song you've released to date, or is there something else that would be your favorite song?
I feel like a lot of times my favorite is our newest, because
of course, because it's it's like a new relationship, right?
For sure.
It's butterflies. You're excited. Every day is an excitement, to it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely on Talks, I would say, although I really love Taxi a lot. I guess it also depends on my mood.
Okay.
But yeah, if I were maybe forced, I would probably say My World.
All right, then let's go on to something more. Since we were talking about, mayhem and destruction, here's one for you. the world's going to end in 5 minutes. A meteor's going to crash on the earth, and you have to listen to one song and one song only. What song are you listening to, Donna? And then Stephanie.
Oh, that's really hard. Oh man. I think I need more time to think about it. I honestly, it would probably be a Led Zeppelin song.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I would say Boy Genius. There's this Boy Genius song I freaking love, but I'm terrible with names of songs.
That's fine.
Or
So
it's
we got-
like Sharon Van Etten, maybe 17. I don't know.
Because that was the only song name you could think of right now?
No, I love that song.
No,
but yeah, no, I'm not really. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know.
all right.
There's just so much like amazing music, and it's hard. That's a hard one.
Yeah. Listen, hard-hitting questions here. That's all we do. All right. How about, is there a band in your life, and there's different categories, right? People like call things, Rolling Stone always categorize your favorite band. I look at bands differently. Is there a band in your life that never lets you down, that when you don't know what you want to listen to, you just always go to that band?
I really like the Shins, Shoots and Ladders. Like, I feel like it's some, I don't know. I can always listen to it and love it.
Nice.
I
Donna?
mean, currently I would say Bully. I've been listening to Bully a lot.
Very good. Very
I
good.
feel like every song is great. Like there's not a Bully song that I don't love. So on any album, you know. So like I would say right now that's kind of my go-to. I really love the band Daughter and the singer's other band X-Ray. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yes.
them, but it's so amazing, just like super moody, beautiful.
Yeah, definitely mood music. It's I remember, I think it was like right before COVID when I found Daughter, and I ordered vinyl, and I was so glad that I had it when the world collapsed.
Yeah. Have you heard X-Ray? Do you listen to
Yes.
X-Ray? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so incredible.
There's so many things that it's, I love the fact where people just that are good at what they do just constantly find ways to create music, right? Like there's so many people that are great at what they do, and they got so many different bands, and they create so many different ways, and it's like, you just give me more ways to love you type of thing. Like it's so awesome. And I try to like tell people, hey, listen, there's always creative outlets. You don't always have to stick to your own band. You can, there's other ways to do things. Like things aren't, it's okay to create on your own too. Like, don't worry about it, and just keep creating music, because then you're just, if you keep it to yourself, now you're just being selfish, and you're keeping it away from me, and I need it more than you do at times. So
yeah. I mean, I can't not make music, so
yeah, so don't keep it to yourself. Keep creating. Send it to me.
thank you.
Now, there's an awesome moment in your life, and I'm hoping both of you have this, and that's a driver's license. It's your first, it's freedom, right? And it's, you kind of think of looking at yourself as like Thelma and Louise. You finally have freedom. Your hair's blowing, the windows are down. Maybe not if you got it in the winter in Chicago, but you kind of remember what you were listening to when you got your license and went to pick up your friend for the first time on your own. Do you remember what you were listening to the day you got your license?
I don't, but I remember I did a hit and run that day.
Wow, thank God for statute of limitations.
No, it was like a diagonal parking spot, and I'm like, oh, I got my license. I can totally do this. And I pulled in and like sunk into the door of their car.
Oh my goodness.
And then she drove away?
I drove away.
Wow.
I don't remember what I was playing on the radio at the time, though.
I'm gonna bet for me it was probably something like the B-52s, because that was like, I just really loved them for driving music. So
I probably had a freaking cassette player in my car, and I was probably only listening to the radio, you know? It was, I don't know.
I had a cassette player in my car, and I listened to a cassette.
I mean, I burned through cassettes. I mean, I was like, I would play cassettes until like you could not play them anymore.
I think I had a car with a cassette player for a really long time. I mean, I'm trying to think of the last year that I would have had a cassette player, but now I have a CD player and I never even use it. So
I wish I had a CD player in my vehicle. I don't have anything. It drives me crazy when people one of the coolest things is seeing young kids come into my store now and they'll like gravitate towards the cassettes. And I'm like, wow, this is cool. They're buying cassettes. They're like, oh yeah, no, I have like a 1988 Honda Accord and it's only got a cassette player in it. So I'm buying cassettes so I can listen to music. I'm like, oh, okay. Either way, that's cool.
That's cool. Yeah. That's cool that you sell cassettes. I guess they're making a comeback, huh?
It's just anything to do with music is at the store. So
that's so cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Is there something that you listen to, Stephanie, that people would be really surprised to hear you get tons of enjoyment out of? Like, I know in our older age, we can't call them guilty pleasures anymore. They're just pleasures, but like something that I always look at it this way, even though I'm completely comfortable in my skin, when someone hears me listening to something that I probably shouldn't be, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. And Donna took me to this concert and it was in Wisconsin and it was Coldplay. Do you remember that, Donna?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, like literally, I was just like the other day. I'm like, I'm always like, whenever Coldplay comes on, like, yes, and I like it kills everybody around me.
Now, what version of Coldplay are we talking about? Are we talking about a Rush of Blood to Head, like Parachutes, or when they got very synthy?
No, before they got very synthy. Yeah, it was like
whatever that tour was you took me to, Donna.
Yeah, that was maybe I don't know what the order of their albums were, but it was like
I think it's Parachute, Rush of Blood, and X and Y. Like that's the first three. I think.
Oh, it was probably Parachute then, because I think it was before X and Y.
And like everyone's like, how can you like them? It's like you two. It's like the rip off, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I don't know, I just love
it. And how about you, Donna?
Oh gosh, I'm really embarrassed to say, but I'll say Taylor Swift.
You can be a Swiftie. It's cool.
Yeah,
such a guilty. I
love that.
But I also have been listening to, and this is my brother's influence, but like a lot of like countryish stuff. Like I'm really into Ryan Adams, but then even farther into the country.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Ryan Adams country.
No, but he has
Americana.
True. And then and moving a little bit deeper into Americana, I listen to John Moreland.
John Moreland's awesome. I saw him last year. He's amazing.
Incredible. And I actually went to see him recently. It was like a Saturday morning. I'm like, what am I going to do this weekend? And I looked online, like what's happening, what shows are happening. And I saw that up in Evanston, John Moreland was playing and it was sold out, but I bought a ticket on StubHub and I went by myself and it was fantastic. And so that's like nothing like, that doesn't really influence my sound at all, but I love it.
Yeah, Moreland's. So there's so many awesome people like that too. Like you can go down a crazy rabbit hole. Like you just jumped some huge phases there too. Ryan Adams to John Moreland, and there's like so much more there for stuff like that. Donovan Woods is another one who's amazing like that. Rustin Kelly,
Rustin Kelly for sure.
Yeah, like there's so many that are so talented and so amazing that it's just like, fuck, man. And when I mention names like that, like I've mentioned John Moreland to people are like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Same thing, Rustin Kelly. Like, what? I'm like, he was married to Casey Musgraves. They're like, oh, I know Casey Musgraves. Of course you do. But unfortunately, Rustin Kelly, to me, was more talented. Like that type of thing. And because there's so many great artists out there doing special things with music, just like yourselves, that
there aren't enough hours in the day to listen to all. There's so much good music, and it's yeah.
I think that's kind of why I started to do what I'm doing now, is because I just get to listen to music all day and nothing can get in the way of that anymore. So
that's amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so this is one of those things where I don't know if anybody has certain things, but I always like to find out, like, if there's some kind of music memorabilia or musical thing in your life that you would never absolutely part with.
I mean, for me, it would be the guitar that my uncle gave me. It is a early 70s Gibson Les Paul Custom. And besides my dog, it's the only thing I would rescue in a fire.
Wow. Nice. Stephanie.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I
Maybe
feel like it would be what?
Maybe some vinyl?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much vinyl we have. I wouldn't even imagine what I would take with me in a fire.
I would grab my Prince vinyl.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know because I feel like it's all in my head, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I'm not a person that saves tickets concerts that I went to. Like, I'm not that type of a person. Like, I feel like I'm in the now, kind of.
Well,
I don't know.
I completely understand it. There's still things that, like, I know I would just have to grab that I could never let go of. In that case of a fire. That's the thing too, living in the now. That's going to concerts nowadays and like keeping your phone in your pocket.
Yeah, there's no tickets anymore.
Yeah, there are no tickets. That's why for years now, I've kept it in notes. Every time I go to a show, I keep everybody I've seen in the notes and where I saw them, because I used to travel a lot for work. So I'd be able to see bands I'd be like, all right, I'm at my hotel. I'm not going to stay in my hotel all night. What's going on? Oh shit. Queens of the Stone Age is playing right around the corner. Going to go there, go to that. And I was like, you know what? I need to keep notes because there's no tickets anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I was just thinking about that the other day. I have like some signed things. Like I have a signed show flyer from all the Jane's Addiction guys, and then I have an autograph. I have autographs from all on one piece of paper from Eddie Vedder, Chris Cornell, and gosh, someone else that I can't even remember. I haven't looked at it in so long.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those things are cool memorabilia kind of thing.
Yeah, like I'm staring right here in front of me. I have they created Pearl Jam basketball cards because they were so big in the basketball, and I have a signed Eddie Vedder basketball card in front of me here.
That's awesome. I have a picture of me and Michael Jordan. I freaking threw it out. That's how I am in the now.
Wow.
Wow.
I was like, I don't need this.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, you just don't care. Zero fuck given. You're like,
you just don't care.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't need this. It doesn't matter who I am. I am who I am. I don't know. I went through a stage.
Wow. That's hysterical. I'm now taken aback. Yeah, so you wouldn't save anything and be like, whatever.
I don't. I mean, I'm a purger. And then, of course, like a week after I throw something out, I'm like, where is that?
Now, is there a moment in your life that music kind of played a huge integral part? Like it's a musical memory that I always go back to, and sometimes it's good, sometimes they're weddings or funerals or parties, but there's a moment that was surrounded by music that you're just never going to forget about.
Sorry, I'll just jump in unless Stephanie, you have something right away.
Go for it.
I remember being at a U2 concert, and I can't remember what tour it was. And I was with a couple friends, and everyone was singing. And I was like, this is what religion is. Like, this is the only time that maybe it's not the only time, but it is one of the very few times that people all come together and they are all in the same mindset, in the same moment, in the same experience, and just full of love.
That's where my saying of people at concerts, they're not strangers, they're just friends you haven't met yet because you're all there for the same thing.
Yeah, it was so beautiful. I was just like, this is amazing. And it's like that at every concert, but I just remember being at this U2 show being like in that moment, realizing it, and it was just huge and it was so beautiful.
Yeah, transcendent experiences. Like that's what it, I recently had I love music so much, and it has happened multiple times to me, but just saw the Stones for the first time in my life. And it was I'm literally there with one of my best friends, and we'd both never seen them, and they're a big part of our life. And I was like, well, we got to go. We just have to go. And it was on my birthday, and him and I went, and I literally called my wife from the show. I said, I can't believe you turned down coming to this show, because this is a religious experience for me right now. This is the greatest thing I've ever fucking been a part of.
Totally.
And those are the moments, and that's why I love live music so much, because you can have those experiences, and you can't really always have those experiences listening to a recorded thing. You just have to be a part of that. And it's the environment you're in that creates that feeling too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Seeing Jane's Addiction was absolutely a religious experience. Like, I was completely transcended. Like, I was like, I just saw God. It was amazing. But I always say music is the gateway to God. Like, it's the language.
I would say for me, like something that like I listen to now that has memories and like was kind of transcending at the time was, it wasn't a concert. It was like I was up in the mountains of Colorado and I was with a bunch of people and we were partying and we were listening to Pink Floyd metal. And the experiences I had with the people were kind of similar to that whole album, which is like crazy intense and then like melodically beautiful. And it was like I was just like, we were doing a lot of drugs. So I'm not gonna lie. But I was like listening to some people's intense stories about their lives that were like harsh. And like, I'm like, what? I just met you. Why are you telling me this stuff? And it was like all while Pink Floyd metal was playing. And it was like amazing and terrible and beautiful and like something I will never forget and remember every time I hear it.
Wow. I mean, that kind of seems like most Pink Floyd stories when people are listening to it. So I get it.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Taking refuge in other people's horror stories to Pink Floyd. And
yeah. And it's like, just like they were like, okay, opening up with it. And it was like coinciding with the music. It was intense and like everyone felt safe though,
I
cool.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's you had a soundtrack to your
Experience.
moment. Yeah,
yes.
to that experience.
Yes.
And that's really awesome. And that's creating soundtracks to life. And I kind of like, when I hear music, I kind of make videos out of it in my head and be like, oh well, this would be a great experience to have while this song is on. And that's why, like, a lot of times I find music and like I have summer albums, like, hey, this was the album of that summer, because that's what I remember most about that summer, is not just the good times, but just that music I listened to the entire time.
Totally. And then the music is like set in time and takes you back to that memory.
If someone locked you in a room, let's say, and needed to torture you, what music would they have to use to torture you with?
Oh my God, jazz. Jazz was singing.
I would say the Grateful Dead.
I'm right there with you. I am right.
God. I'm like, please find a melody and repeat it.
I've had people on the show that have told me that like the Grateful Dead never lets them down, or it's their favorite band, and I just go, okay, now we're gonna go on a side quest here, and you have to explain to me why. And not one of them has ever said because of the music.
Right.
They've never said anything about the music. Like, oh, they never talk about the melodies or like nothing, because there is none. And they're always like, oh man, you just have to experience it. I go, so you like the experience, you don't like the music. Okay.
Exactly.
It's like you going to see Kiss, right? Like, Kiss is an experience. They're not a music experience. They're just an experience. They're artists, but they're not talented musician wise artists. They're not really playing great music. They're just an experience for you. Like,
they're
that's
putting on a show.
Yeah. Like, it's a different kind of artistry. Like, there just happens to be some notes in there that you can hum to.
Like with the Grateful Dead, it's more like the crowd and the drugs and the scene. I don't even know that they're putting on a show. They're just up there. I feel like they're all playing a different song.
They are.
It's in my opinion, it is absolutely unlistenable. Like, it is unlistenable.
Yeah, if I'm in a cage in Guantanamo Bay and they put Grateful Dead on, I would kill myself. But guys, you don't have to do this. I got it.
Yeah.
I can figure out how to poke out my own eyes and slit my own wrist with my fingernail. Like, I got this. Don't worry about it.
Oh dear.
Sorry for all the listeners out there that love the Grateful Dead, but I'm sorry. I can't. I will scream from a mountaintop that I don't like them, and I tell everybody all the time. I don't get it. There's a lot of things I don't get that I learn to get, and then I can understand. I'm like, oh, I understand why people like this. I just don't need to like it.
Yeah.
Don't understand.
There's plenty of other music out there.
There is. There's lots of other music out there, which is what we're going to get to here in a second. So prior to that, I would just tell you guys to pull up your Spotify or however you listen to your music, because we're going to go into our final segment here. We've been here for almost an hour, which is really awesome. And I love the fact that you have new music coming out at some point, so we can do this again and have more to talk about then. But before we go on to that, I say, Donna, why don't you tell the listeners how to find out what it is you guys are doing, how to keep up with you, how to come see you guys play, how to buy any of the stuff you have out there, because that's the way we keep this going. Is if people, I don't know how many times I have to fucking say it on the show, but please go out, spend your money, buy something from the artists that you like to listen to. Otherwise, they kind of stop being able to put out new music for you to listen to, because everything we do in life costs money. So please, just a little help.
Well, thank you for that opportunity. We are on Bandcamp and Spotify, and I think all streaming, like Apple Music. But yeah, you can buy it you can buy Tux, which is out now on Bandcamp. Typically our Instagram account is really up to date in terms of shows. We do have a website, 6kitty.com, that also shows our upcoming shows. Facebook, we have a Facebook page. And I'm trying to see if is it 6KITTY Band?
I think it's 6KITTY Music.
6KITTY Music, yes, correct. Thank you. Yeah, I think, is that everything? I think that's everything. Facebook, Instagram, website, Bandcamp, Spotify. Yeah. We're playing at a Chicago club called Reggie's on September 5th.
Nice.
I think we're probably playing mostly all new songs. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go into our final segment. Our final segment is called The Weekly Threes. It's 3 things that you're listening to right now that you would like people to check out. So you get your 3, then I get my 3 when you both are done. But you have to say them out loud to me.
3 things that we are in our current playlist?
Yeah, that you're listening to that you would like people to listen to.
Well, I'll just go since I'm already talking. I'm listening to this band called King Hannah. They're from Liverpool. They're super cool. I would urge people to go listen to them. Listening to a lot of Bully again. And I recently have been revisiting a lot of PJ Harvey. So, not new stuff, but cool stuff.
Doesn't have to be new. Music's music.
So for me, hang on, I'm pulling up this. There's this one girl in London that I like a lot, and I've been just following stuff. Okay, Chapo Roan is amazing, and I just saw her at Lollapalooza, and that was awesome. Let me see if I can pull up.
It's a record I can't keep in stock in the store.
Oh yeah,
super. Yeah, every time it comes in, it goes.
I always say I really like lately, which isn't new, but Tame Impala. Yeah, I don't know. I can't find the other girl that I listen to on Instagram. That's amazing. But Frico, they're from Chicago. We follow them on 6KITTY. I think Donna started following them, but I think they're like super awesome and up and coming. Bridget Calls Me Baby is also another band that's up and coming from Chicago. That's pretty cool. They kind of sound like the Smiths. So,
And
yeah.
what was the one before that? Was that Franco or Frego?
Friko. Frikko, I think. They kind of have like a Radiohead vibe.
All right, cool. Well, I need to check that out. All right, cool. Now, my three for this week. The first one is a band called Fossil Youth. They have an album called Empty Handed, Heavy Hearted. From Oklahoma, it's emo punk rock type of vibe. Next is a band called Slomosa. That's Slomosa. They have an EP called Battling Guns. They're out of Norway. I kind of have to describe them as like maybe doom rockish, kind of the way of like a Caius was back in the day, but a little more produced. And last but not least is a band called Rocket. They have an album called Versions of You. They're dream pop gaze, as I gave you guys that moniker earlier, but out of LA, really cool sound, female vocalist as well. So it's just like, I love that dreamy gazy kind of sound that's got going on.
Nice.
But those are my three for this week. So before I get us out of here, I want to send a huge heartfelt thank you to both you, Donna and Stephanie. If it wasn't for the music that you created and the passion you put into it, we wouldn't be talking today. I wouldn't have found you. You wouldn't have made my ears sing, and my day would have been without. So I want to say thank you so much for what it is you do, because it means a lot, and it means the world to people, whether or not they have the opportunity to tell you. The music you create can be the soundtrack to someone else's drug-induced good time on a mountain in Colorado.
Awesome. I'd like to join them.
But I mean it so much. Thank you so much for what it is you do.
Thank you for having us and for finding us. And so pleased that you like the music, and we'll be sure to share the new album with you. And we're following you now, so you're stuck with us.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Great. But thank you again so much. And everybody out there on the other side of this microphone, you know what time it is now. It's time to go out, listen to 6KITTY, and have a great fucking time.
Bye.
Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.